Okay, so let's consider now the production of sound, and then we'll also consider beats and the interference of sound waves when we get constructive and destructive interference of sound waves, just like we saw in the previous chapter with the constructive and destructive interference of light. Now, sound waves are created by some object, pushing on the air. Right? If we have a speaker, you ever looked at a speaker? It's really just sort of like a paper cone. Then there's usually a magnet of some sort on the back of it. And if you've ever been to like one of those rock concerts, uh, these paper cones on these big woofers will move back and forth. Boom, boom. Every time you have that big boom, you'll move back and forth. So it is literally causing these areas of high pressure and low pressure, high pressure and low pressure over and over again, pushing the air back and forth and pushing that sound wave, that pressure wave, that compressional wave, that longitudinal wave throughout the medium, which is the air of the place. So sound waves are just created by pushing on the air. Now, um, let's see. Let's go to the next page. We might come back to this. So a simple wave has a single frequency. Right, a simple wave might just look like this if we were to plot it. A complex wave, like music or somebody speaking, or really any kind of sound that's not just a single tone, will have multiple frequencies added up. Okay, so like we had on the last time, let's say that we have a single frequency, and then I add this to another sound wave that looks like this. If I add these two waves up, peaks line up with troughs, troughs line up with peaks, and on and on. If I add these up, then they give me a nothing. They give me nothing at all. In fact, I've never done this because I don't have a boombox that allows me to do this, but if you have a boombox with detachable speakers, you take those speakers, they look like this. Uh, if you put them next to one another, you have these wires that come out of them. New stereos don't really have this, but sometimes I do, I guess. But anyway, if you can take these wires and switch them one for the other on one of the speakers, what that does effectively is it causes one of the waveforms to be out of phase. It basically switches it, takes the inverse of it. And then if you move those speakers right up next to one another, then they're going to produce no sound at all. In fact, this is what we get when we have, some of you might have those noise canceling headphones. So on a noise canceling headphone, you're listening to your music, boop, 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 and you're really happy about it. But you got all this noise coming in to your noise canceling headphone, and it's coming in and it's trying to get into your ears and mess up your music experience. Now, what the headphones do is they have a little microphone and they detect this wave and they produce another wave that looks like this and actually play that sound on the speakers that are next to your ears. Then that wave mixes, this wave mixes with the ambient noise that's coming in from external sources, and they add up to give you nothing at all. Now, we get a good example of this when we try to add uh, simple frequencies that are different. Simple but different frequencies. So tones with a single frequency but that are different. We're going to look at this sound generator. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to play this. Hopefully this comes through on your headphones okay. But if not, you can go to this website. Just, Google tone generator. So this is a fairly comfortable tone, 134 hertz. It doesn't hurt your ears too much. So I have 134 hertz. Now I have another window set up here with the same. I have 134 hertz. It dampened it a little bit because I have a lower volume. Okay, so I have two tones playing right now, both at 134 hertz. Notice what happens if I increase this by just a little bit. And then a little bit more. And then a little bit more. Okay, that's kind of annoying. All right, let's stop that. So what we had there is that we were adding up two different frequencies. So we added up a frequency that was like this, and I'm going to exaggerate it because actually these two frequencies were so dissimilar or so similar I just can't really draw the distinctions. But I'm gonna try to exaggerate a little bit. All right, so I'm adding up these two frequencies, one low frequency, the one on the top, and one high frequency, the one on the bottom. And what I get here when I add these up is I get something funky that looks like this, where I get one frequency imposed on the other. Now, when you have two very similar frequencies like we have before, and I try to add them up, we hear what we call beats. And beats occur when you get that, let's go back to it, 134 hertz. 134 hertz. Listen, if you play a musical instrument, a stringed instrument, this is, let me stop this. This is how you tune your instrument. Is you take a source of a known frequency and you compare it to the frequency of your string. If you hear two tones that play constant like this, then you know they're the same frequency. But even if they're just a little bit off, just one little hertz, which is not very much, then you hear these beats. Notice that this is 1 beat per second. This is 2 beats per second. This is 1 beat per second because one of my frequencies is 1 hertz off. 2 beats per second. Okay, so my beats, the number of beats that I hear is equal to the difference in the two frequencies. I'll call it F2 minus F1. So if I have 134 hertz and 135 hertz, I'm going to hear 1 hertz beat. I'm going to hear wah, wah, wah. That will be superimposed upon the two sounds. This is going to be an absolute value because it goes in either direction. So we just if we have a negative value, just get rid of it. Beats are pretty interesting, and this really is just an effect of interference of two waves. We'll see that again in resonance, but a nice little application of it here. Interference of two waves, just like we saw in diffraction. Remember Thomas Young, he knew about this. He knew how sound waves could interfere, how mechanical waves could interfere with one another, and that's why he thought that light was a wave. Turned out he's right, but he wasn't have the complete picture. All right, let's stop there, and we'll pick up with intensity later.